buzzer beater to end the first quarter. Byron, degree of difficulty, please.
Very difficult, but J.R. Smith, he can make that shot 5 out of 50, 60 times. The normal human,
that's like a
0 or 1.
You know, for him, that's like a hole-in-one on a par 5.
Off leg,
right?
cross the body.
Like that. Yeah, he's a big golfer.
Also, you have to want to take that shot. And even in the playoffs, guys are more concerned with their percentages sometimes than taking that shot.
J.R. Smith has never been concerned about his percentages. I can assure you that.
Which is from everywhere and anywhere.
You're right. His in this case. Welcome to The Jump. I am Rachel Nichols alongside our insider Amin Al-Hassan, our 3-time champ, Byron Scott. One person on this set has rings. It's not us, so that's the guy we're paying. There are some thrilling, nerve-wracking playoff series going on in the NBA right now. We're really lucky, but for the most part, Golden State, San Antonio, it's not one of them. The Warriors are heavy favorites, the Spurs are a franchise in flux, and injuries have robbed us of seeing 2 of the series' marquee players on the floor. But sometimes, one of those moments you'll end up remembering from a particular postseason comes from one of the games you don't expect. And that's what we got in San Antonio yesterday, courtesy of Manu Ginobili. And I want to make this clear. It was not special watching Manu in some sentimental career retrospective gold watch retirement gift sort of way. Although, indeed, the 40-year-old may retire this summer, and these may have been his final moments on his home court. Now, as usual, it was special watching Manu because of the actual basketball he played. He was key to San Antonio, spending much of the game with a lead, doing things like this. Which, I mean, come on, it's Manu. The Warriors should know better than to fall for the banana in the tailpipe twice in 4 seconds. Come on. And when toward the end of the game, Golden State inevitably closed the gap, Manu was the one who simply put his foot down and said no, scoring 10 of his 16 points in the fourth quarter. Take a look at this sidestep 3. So calm under pressure, like he's done it a million times before, which, of course, he has. Now, there was a little bit of a panic in the arena with a little less than 3 minutes to go. He went down, it appeared like he banged his knee, but then he got up, and the chant started. Listen here, it is so cool. Manu would stay in, and not much later, he did that. So, yeah, he was totally fine. And he finished things off with this 3, which was also fitting because, well, now listen to Steve Kerr.
I smiled when he made that corner 3 right in front of us at the end of the game. It was just so typical Manu. I know he's old because he was my teammate, and I'm old as dirt. And so if I played with him, he must be old.
Such a good picture. It was a great night for Spurs fans all around, and not just because they avoided a sweep, but also because just maybe they took a little nick out of the Warriors as they did it. And no, I am not suggesting at all that Golden State could now lose this series. That remains near impossible. But the Spurs did a couple things that could come back to bite the Warriors down the road. First, they switched up their defensive matchups to perhaps create a blueprint for a more talented team, creating exactly the kind of turnovers that we know can unspool the Warriors. Second, they extended this series to 5 games, which weirdly both shaves down Golden State's rest and prep time for its next series, but also because of the quirks of the NBA calendar, doesn't actually push back the start of that series, which at least would have been good for those hoping to have Steph Curry back for as many second-round games as possible. And look, I have no idea if the Warriors will in fact be vulnerable later in these playoffs. But I do know if they are, and the Spurs turn out to have had something to do with that, Manu Ginobili will be sitting on a beach chair somewhere, smiling. And not in some sentimental way, in a basketball killer way, because that is what he is. And long after these playoffs are over, that is one of the things we will definitely remember.
Lovely Manu log.
Not bad. That was bad.
Yeah?
That was
No,
bad.
come on. Manu log? That was good.
Byron, I want to ask you more about the last part because I know you are not cowering in fear, worried about the Warriors advancing to the next round. But the way they came out in this one, the way the Spurs were able to do what they did that tell you anything about Golden State and where they are in this postseason?
Not really. I mean, you got to look at San Antonio. You got to understand the circumstances and the situation. Playing with a heavy heart. You know, their coach, their leader, just lost his beautiful wife. So you knew these guys were going to come out and play with a lot of heart, a lot of effort. And they are the Spurs. You know, they got a lot of pride in this organization. So they didn't want to get swept. So you knew they were going to give Golden State everything they had. Golden State, I thought, played a pretty good game. You know, despite the turnovers and things, that missing layups and missing all this stuff, I thought they played a pretty good game. They had a chance to win this game. But you got to give all the credit to the San Antonio Spurs. But does this mean, in my eyes, is this is going to somehow say, oh, Golden State is not as good as we thought they were? Because they still are.
Yeah.
They're still missing one of their best players and one of the best players in this league. And I still think he's getting ready. You know, watching him warm up. You know, he's getting ready for that second series, and it's going to be a doozy. I think the second series is going to be fun.
Yeah, no, it's the NBA, right? The Spurs aren't the Suns or the Kings.
Right.
They're a good team too, so they're allowed to.
We're
they're
not
allowed to.
You
No, I'm
take
just saying.
extraneous shots
But
at other
this-
franchises.
But this is. I
Their
want to point
seasons
out
are
something.
over. Shouldn't that be enough?
I want to point out something here. There's a point in the fourth quarter last night where they turned into the Golden State Thunder, where it's like, okay, he's going to dribble around, and take a pull-up jump shot, and we're all just going to sit there and watch. That's not their identity. They can't get trapped in that. And you're going to see in today's show, we're going to go back to a theme about a lot of these series this weekend where teams reverted to bad habits that are not what got them.
Are you
to a place
teasing the
of success.
Raptors segment
I'm
in the
teasing
middle
a lot
of this segment?
I'm saying I'm going to bring it up a bunch of times for
Okay.
a lot of different series.
Yeah.
Where you can't get stuck in that. That's not how you play. That's not what brought you success.
Right.
All year long. And even though, look, if I had to pick one person in the league to do that, it would be that guy. But that's not the best use of their offense and their players.
All right. Well, I do want to get back to the Steph Curry thing Byron brought up because, indeed, he was on court participating in shooting drills prior to Game 4. Now, Steve Kerr says that Steph is not going to play anytime
Steve
soon.
Nash warm-ups right there.
Yep. But he did offer a little bit of insight into Curry's progress. You can listen to Steve here.
This is about where he should be after 4 weeks, and he's coming along well. But don't expect him to be Willis Reed tomorrow. He's
Can't spot up shoot for 15 minutes.
no. It's going to take some more time, but he's coming along well. That's the main thing.
You know we're going to work that Willis Reed video anytime we can. If someone just extraneously mentions it, we'll be, I'll put that on TV. Are you buying it from Steve Kerr?
No.
Yeah, thank you.
No.
Thank you.
I mean, he's not coming back anytime soon. No, he's coming back in the second round.
Yeah.
You know,
Tomorrow, he's not going-
so he ain't coming back tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, and if they, saying if, but when they win Game 5, he won't be back the next day. But he will be back in game 1, 2, 3, whatever it is for the second series. There's no doubt in my mind. So I think he's trying to take a lot of the pressure off of Curry as far as having to come back or them trying to force him to come back. Hey, he's not going to come back anytime soon. He's progressing
Right.
nicely.
So, by the way,
Sitting right behind
so this was an
And he's shooting
interview we
pretty
did
clearly.
with Steve the eve of the playoffs. This was our jump playoff preview special. He's talking to us in part about Steph not really being ready, and there's Steph behind him.
I don't even know when he's going to be back on the court.
Right.
That's set. He came to visit.
Look, by the way, Steve is doing his job, right? And
Absolutely.
two fronts. First of all, making
Absolutely.
sure the rest of the team is not waiting for the cavalry to come, making sure the fans are the same way. And also, we know it is a huge subject of examination how fast Steph Curry came back in the 2016 playoffs from a similar injury, and did he come back too soon? So it's his job to be cautious, right?
Well, I mean, he didn't come back too soon in those playoffs. They should have won, right? He wasn't 100%, but they should have won. And that's another story for another day. I think the balance is, how long do I hold him? Because I don't want to drop him in the Western Conference Finals in Game 1.
Right.
That's a lot of rust you got to shake off
Right,
against
right.
your number
Right.
one competitor in the league. So from that standpoint, there is an internal clock of when do we bring him back. But at the same time, like you said, Rachel, you don't want him out there hobbling or limping, because again, that's what we talked about. That's how other injuries happen.
Compensation injuries are the
Yep.
things that I'm most sort of concerned about Steph.
But Steve is lying. You're a liar.
Just to put it bluntly, yeah. I'm going to say, Coach, you're just not telling the whole truth.
On as strategery, right?
Yeah.
Strategery.
You're protecting your guy, and that's what you should do.
There you go. Coming up, we're going to talk about Lance Stevenson, because we can.
Oh, love talking about Lance. Just love talking about
Where is Lance occupying in LeBron's head? Is it fully in the head? Is it like on the ear? Is it blowing it? Never mind.
It's right
We're
here.
going to discuss that. Also, though, we've
left
got a
ear or right
distant
ear?
replay. It's this date, 2003. Take a look.
Yeah,
The left ear?
03.
Oh, my stars. It's Tracy
Oh,
Tracy.
T-Mac. Oh, man.
Yeah.
What is that, Cliff Robinson under the rim? Oh, look, that's Michael Curry. Michael Curry was reaching, T-Mac was teaching. And then Cliff is just there.
When he's jogging back, is he like, oh, yeah, that's what I do? Or is he like, why am I not getting more help in
Yeah,
the
T-Mac,
series?
that's the look on his face like, give me a teammate. Just one teammate out here.
And that's
There's something out there for you.